Welcome back. UN Secretary-General Mr. Ban Ki-moon made a very special visit to Sahrawis living in refugee camps in southern Algeria. And for almost 40 years, they've been trying to lay claim to Western Sahara, a territory that Morocco claims but which the Sahrawis say belongs to them. Argument over the land has continued despite the UN brokering a ceasefire there in 1991. A rare visit filled with expectation from the UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon. Mr. Ban was in the Sahrawi refugee camp in southern Algeria on Saturday as part of efforts to restart negotiations to end the dispute between the Polisario independence movement and Morocco over the Western Sahara territory. The Polisario Front, which says the territory belongs to ethnic Sahrawis, waged a guerrilla war after Morocco took over the area from colonial Spain in 1975. Until the UN brokered ceasefire in 1991, the two sides have been deadlocked since. Many of the Sahrawi refugees who fled the fighting in Western Sahara have been living in mud brick houses in the harsh Tindouf area for some 40 years. Mr. Ban has said he wants to relaunch negotiations over the desert region and allow the return of Sahrawi people from refugee camps in Algeria across the border. Algeria backed Polisario in the conflict against regional rival Morocco. Polisario, backed by Algeria and a number of other African states, wants to hold a long-delayed referendum, promising the UN ceasefire deal on the region's future. But Morocco wants Western Sahara, which is rich in phosphates and possibly offshore oil and gas, to be an autonomous part of Morocco and disagrees with Polisario over who should take part in the referendum. Mr. Ban said he wanted the referendum to take place but admitted there had been no progress.
The parties to the Western Sahara conflict, I have not made any real progress in the negotiations towards a just, lasting, and mutually acceptable political solutions.
But he had not given up hope.
I have been heartened by the faith Sahrawi people put in the United Nations, its principles, and international law. Let us match this with determination to alleviate their plight and resolve this long-standing conflict for the future, for the better future of all Sahrawis.
Many of the Sahrawi expressed hopes ahead of the UN Secretary-General's visit.
We expect a lot from the Secretary-General of the United Nations visit. We expect him to end the suffering of the Sahrawi and the settlement of the conflict. And we ask God Almighty to help everybody to put an end to this conflict and find a solution to the Sahrawi case in order to end this protracted conflict. We, honestly, Sahrawi men and women of the camp, we all refuse to let the suffering caused by this conflict continue.
We want them to give us our independence. Enough suffering and homelessness. We have been suffering for 46 years. That's almost 50 years. Enough of this displacement and suffering. We just want independence.
Before his visit to the camp, Mr. Ban was in Mauritania, where he commended President Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz for his strong support for the UN mediation efforts on Western Sahara. It would interest you to know that Nigeria does recognize the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic and has defended the people and their just cause, especially in international circles. It's also been developing relations between Sahrawi Republic and Nigeria. Nigeria's former ambassador to Algeria, Haruna Ginso, once said that Nigeria's position towards the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination is unchanging. A Nigerian delegation once visited the Sahrawi refugee camps in 2014. And when we come back after the break, Our focus on Nigeria's fight against the Boko Haram insurgents. We speak to a former Chief of Defense to the United Kingdom and Prime Minister and Cabinet, Lord David Richards. Please join us again.